In this episode, I'm going to share with you a few of my favorite tips for what to post to social media if you are in real estate. Hey everybody, Katie Lance here, founder and CEO of Katie Lance Consulting, the Get Social Smart Academy, and author of the book, Get Social Smart. It's episode 210 of the Get Social Smart show. And if you're watching this video over on YouTube, I would love if you'd hit the subscribe button and the bell button so you get notified when we have new videos each and every week. So let's get into the show. I'm so excited to talk about what to post for social media, especially in 2021. I find that this is one of the biggest questions I get asked all the time, what to post. People, they can't think of content, they're not sure what the best type of content is to post. So I'm going to share with you 4 big ideas today that are really going to help you with your posting and your content strategy. Tip number 1, educational content. So educational content are things related to the questions you get asked all the time. If you think about your business and you think about all the different questions and facets of your business, think about the buyers you've worked with, the sellers you've worked with, and all the topics of conversation that have come up, over the last 6 to 12 months of people that you've worked with, things like moving, selling, buying, staging, should I hire a stager? Why should I pay for a stager? How do I find a lender? How do I find a realtor? I'm not sure about moving. Should I buy now? Should I stop renting? Like all these things that get asked, that's all kind of falls into the educational bucket. So what I would encourage you to do, first of all, I like to look at my life as content. So as you're out and about, as you're working with clients, as you're meeting an inspector, you're meeting a stager, pay attention to those conversations, get out a notebook and start writing down a list, whether it's a physical notebook, whether it's a Google document, start making a list of content and you will be amazed. Now there's also going to be some things that come up where you think to yourself, if I get asked this one more time, that's a great piece of content. Okay, so educational content, super helpful, even if you feel like everybody knows this. Trust me, they don't, right? Sometimes the most basic things are so valuable. So educational content, super important. The second type of content is storytelling content. Okay, so the first is educational, which is very fact-based. Educational content is like the 5 biggest tips for every first-time home buyer or my ultimate moving checklist. That's very educational and informative. But this second piece of content, storytelling, is a little bit more touchy-feely. You still might be sharing something, right? Maybe you're sharing a listing. But a storytelling piece of content is where you're pulling out a story. So instead of saying, hey, check out my new listing, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, open Sunday 1 to 4, those are just the facts, right? How can we make that more of a story? You might say, I've got a beautiful new listing on the market, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, open Sunday 1 to 4, and make sure you pop by because I cannot wait to tell you guys the story of that kitchen remodel. Do you see how that feels a little bit different, right? When you can pull out a story, whether it's from a client, whether it's your own life, like I said, look at your life as content. We tend to remember stories a lot of times more than facts. You think about it, the last time you went to a conference, you walk away from that conference inspired. Maybe you walk away with tons and tons of notes, but a lot of times what really sticks are the stories that speaker told on stage. So I would encourage you to think about, are there some stories that you can integrate into your content? Things like, why did you get into real estate, right? Maybe if you've been in real estate a long time, what's your story? If you're new to real estate, what's your story there? Who was the first buyer you worked with? Who was the first seller you worked with? As you start to kind of brainstorm these different things that have inspired you over the years, as you start to ask your clients, hey, when you moved here, what was the biggest thing that you loved about this house? Tell me that story. When you start to get into that mindset, that can be a great piece of content that you can integrate into all of your social media strategy. So maybe you're posting something educational once a week, and then maybe you're also intentionally posting some sort of story, which again, might be educational, but it's a story that's going to get people to lean in, right? And to be curious and want more information. That type of content tends to get a lot of engagement. Tip number 3 for content for what to post is community content. One of the things I love probably the most about agents and brokers is you guys know your community better than anybody. You know the best place to get a slice of pizza, the best place to get a glass of wine, the best place to go get a cup of coffee. And so when you can start highlighting your community in a really intentional way, It's a small thing that makes a big difference. And you can do this in a number of ways. You could do this with posts on your page. Maybe every Friday you do a featured Friday where you're featuring a local business and you have a picture that you've taken and you write 2 or 3 sentences and you tag the business. That's one way to do it. We've also seen a lot of folks who are doing videos where they're going to that establishment and they reach out in advance and they introduce themselves and they say, "Hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm with such and such brokerage, and I would love to feature you," right? And they go out and they do a quick video interview. A lot of folks, especially with everything going on in the world, are doing Zoom video interviews where they're, again, reaching out saying, "Hey, I would love to highlight you. One of the things we're doing as a local brokerage is we are highlighting local businesses. Would you be open to hopping on a quick Zoom call or a Facebook Live where we can highlight and I can find out about your business?" 9 times out of 10, you guys, when you do that, when you reach out to local businesses and you ask them if you can highlight them and why, most of the time they're going to be over the moon, right? And it's really a great way for you to establish a relationship with that business owner. It's also a great piece of content for your community. And guess what? 9 times out of 10, when you do that interview or you do that post, so often that business is going to share your content with their audience, right? So it's such a win-win. And again, it's a little bit less about real estate and more about the community, because as we all know, real estate is more than just the 4 walls that we live in. It's about our neighborhoods and our local businesses, our parks and schools and all of that. So I would start to brainstorm. What are the businesses that you love? What are the things in your community that you absolutely love? And then incorporate that into your social media, into your content strategy. Idea number 4, timely content. So timely content is really important, right? We've talked about educational, which is kind of timeless. We've talked about storytelling content, which can also be fairly timeless. Community content, depending on what it is, can be kind of timeless also. But tip number 4 is timely content. So timely content is things around the market. I know a lot of you do like a Monday market update, or once a month you put out some sort of market report. And maybe you want to hop on a Facebook Live to talk about what's going on, your latest listings. So timely content is relevant today, but it may expire. And that's why we don't want to have all of our content be timely, because then you're always like recreating stuff. So having a balance between like evergreen and timeless information, and also from time to time, things that are happening timely in the market are also really important. And it shows that you're aware, right? I know during the kind of beginning of the pandemic in 2020, we saw a lot of agents really pivoting and creating content around how they are working with buyers and sellers, how they are in business, and how they're keeping their clients safe. And that's a great example of being able to pivot and to put out some really timely content. So those are 4 big buckets. When we think about content ideas, I really encourage you to dive into those 4 content ideas. And by the way, if you're looking for some additional information, I have a couple great resources for you. So resource number 1, over on our podcast, we interviewed Chelsea Pites back in 2020. She wrote the book on what to post, and it is an awesome interview. I'm going to drop that in the show notes below, in the link below, in the comments below, wherever you're watching this. You'll see it below because I definitely encourage you to check out that interview. We had a great conversation about this particular topic of what to post, and she wrote a whole book on it. It's awesome. So check out Chelsea. The second thing I want to say is, if you have not yet downloaded our free content grid, this is chock full of content ideas. So if you're listening to this and you're feeling very stuck with what to post, go to KatieLance.com/content grid to download our free content grid. It has more than 30 content ideas that you can implement right away. We do a lot of the heavy lifting for you, so it's super easy. All right, I would love to hear from you. What are some things that you're posting on social media that you're seeing are getting a lot of engagement? So let us know in the comments below. If you have any other questions, let us know in the comments below as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notified when we have new episodes each and every week. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.